So Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. For a neutral, it was probably the best game you'll watch all season. But for an Arsenal fan like us, heart attack central, 100-mile-an-hour heart rate, probably more than that, 1 million heart rate, 2-0 up. We're in cloud nine. We're like, wow, this is happening. And then Anfield's a humbler. They get their goal back. And after that, we were rabbits in the headlights for most of the second half, if not all of it. But we still created some good chances in the second half. And in stoppage time, a 3-on-1. I still don't even know who passed that ball. But whoever it is,
it was Martinelli who made.
Well, he needs dropping for the next game then, because that pass was a simple pass, mate. Yeah, right. He needs dropping for the next game. But we didn't go there and appear scared. But as soon as they got their goal back to 2-1, we were under the cosh, weren't we, mate? And they created a lot of big chances. And the goalkeeper, for me, we're going to come to player ratings later. For me, he was man of the match. But Kenny, what did you make of that?
Well, first and foremost, one of the things that we've been sort of worried about came to fruition, and the things that we've been praising them came to fruition as well. The first 30 minutes was one of our best football. We were in complete control. We were outrunning Liverpool. We're outthinking Liverpool, and the speed of our passing, the speed of our football brain was just destroying them. They're rabbits in the highlight. But even then, still, they had a couple of chances. We can praise us to the cows come home, and we did score when we were strong. But let's not discount the Robertson chance and the Salah chance in between then. And there were still little danger signs. But you've got to talk about the good first. The good was the goals and the performances of Jesus and Martinelli in that first half an hour, and Saka as well. Let's not forget, Saka was the one who laid on that, who stretched the defence and laid on that ball for Martinelli to score the first goal, and also Jesus as well. His movement, is it a coincidence that Martinelli's playing his best football since Jesus has come back? Not really. Is it a coincidence he's been playing his best football since Trossard's come to him? No, because he relies on space and he relies on one-on-ones from deep, not where you can pass the ball, and he needs the ball passed in front of him, and that's one of the reasons why he's playing his best football. But that's the good. Also, the way the midfield played well, defence were brilliant. The bad was the fact is that I think Arsenal fans were a bit optimistic, misreading of the situation at Anfield. They misreaded Liverpool at Anfield. If you look at Liverpool's results, their home games, if you take away Real Madrid, which is a freak result, where they could have been 5-0 up anyway before they lost 5-2. Their home form's quite perfect. They haven't conceded a goal in the calendar year. And
where were you? Home record in the league, 9 goals conceded at home all season.
Exactly. But the fact is because they've been in the FA Cup, because they've had teams. Played teams who are in the FA Cup still. They haven't had many games at Anfield. The fact is that what we did is that we got the crowd involved. Xhaka made a complete pork chop of a performance, and it's quite interesting when you talk about Granit Xhaka, where he was under manners when Konate went after him. When it was Trent Alexander-Arnold, he was ready for a fight, but when he got taken out and he looked up as Konate, he went, "Nah, not interested, mate." But what he did
1 minute after that, where Jesus drags him away, and fair play to Jesus. I don't know what he said, but he probably said, "Listen, we're fucking winning this game here. We're 2-0 up. Yeah. We're top of the league. We're going for a title, mate. Shut up." But the whole team switched off after that for 1 minute, and they score.
Well, I think what's happened is that sometimes, right, it could be a sliding tackle gets the crowd going, and you get angry at yourselves for making mistakes. And I think, you've got to shake the hand of Konate, was their best player. Henderson looked like Tony Cruz. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the much maligned Trent Alexander-Arnold, was probably one of the better players in setting off. And the fact is that with that front three and those forwards, I was saying it all along. And I'm not saying I told you so, but I'm going to tell you I told you so. We're having to score 2 or 3 goals to win a football match because we're still conceding chances. And when you concede the amount of chances we've been conceding since the calendar year, yes, we won 7 games in a row. There's always going to be a time when it's going to come and bite you up the arse, and it nearly did today. You look at the second. You look at Zinchenko. Now, me and you spoke off air about the substitutions. The manager has got a lot of things right this season, but the fact is that when you know that Henderson and Trent Alexander are getting on that right-hand side where they basically create overlaps, where they're taking turns to either put the ball from like I said, a midfield point of view, or they're getting down the fire line. It's showing that Zinchenko isn't where he should be. There's only one duel he won in that second half. One duel. All the other duels he lost. Now, so your first substitution should have been Tierney, not Kivior. In terms of Trossard as well, that's probably a luxury substitution we didn't really need. But the first substitution had to be Tierney for Zinchenko. What's happened is you bring on Kivior because you're assuming that they got Konate for set pieces, they got Van Dijk for set pieces, they got Gapco to put him in, and they got a tall centre forward in Nunez. That's all well and good, but the fact is by not making that substitution and by being on Kivior, it's one of the worst things you do in football because you're inviting pressure. By bringing on an extra defender.
We're going to try and feed this out here.
Basically, what you're saying is that you're telling your whole team, don't press Liverpool. Let Thiago have as much of the ball as he wants. Let Henderson have as much of the ball as he wants. I don't care what anyone says. With the amount, if you defend your goal line and put that amount of pressure or receive that amount of pressure from the opposition, you will concede. I don't care what anyone says. You cannot concentrate for that amount of time and withstand that amount of pressure. You know, this isn't Italy in the 1960s. You are going to concede, and that is where the manager got it wrong. Because the team itself and him conceded too much possession, and that gave Liverpool an in. Everything the good things we did in the first half an hour, we failed because Liverpool got in amongst us. They thought, you know what? They thought, right, we get amongst them and get our midfield into the game and get our fullbacks in. We'll get back into the game. We might even nick this, and that's exactly what nearly happened. You think about the whole situation. They brought on. Did Liverpool bring in a defensive midfielder? No, they brought on attackers because they knew Arsenal were going to wait and just say, you know what,
they took Fabinho off and Curtis Jones off. Yeah, and they brought on Darwin Nunez and Thiago. Then they brought on Thiago.
And that won him the game. Did you see him bring on like I said, Milner? No, because Milner's not an attacking player.
They made 3 subs before we made a sub, Kenny. Yeah, and for me, that's scandalous. Like we played Manchester United earlier in the season. Yeah, we played Manchester United earlier in the season. Saka got us back in that game, and we were playing a stupid high line at Old Trafford, yeah? Right? And at that point, you're like, 1-1 at Old Trafford, drop back 10 yards, relax, make subs. By the time we even did that and we didn't even drop back, bang, the game's gone. And today... Yeah,
but that's the thing. That's the thing. As much as we've done a lot of good things well, from a midfield and defensive point of view, we are conceding chances, even against teams who are not good, against teams who are not at the level of a Liverpool at Anfield, or against good teams. Now you're gonna think, okay, why are they moaning about? We're not moaning. We're just thinking these are the situations that can cost you the league. Now you look at Chelsea in about 3 weeks' time, so 2 weeks' time. I can guarantee you now that if we concede chance against Chelsea, they will take advantage because simple reason, doesn't matter where they are in the league and how well we're playing. They've got good players. They've got Felix. They might have Mudryk. They still got Aubameyang still knows his way to go. Although Havertz is still like an international player. They're good attacking players who will take advantage. Now, if the small teams are taking advantage, that's fair enough. You can't rely on scoring 3 or 4, 2 or 3 to win a game. You have to be able to keep clean sheets because that could help us win the title. Now, when's the last time we kept a clean sheet? Was it Fulham?
Mate, we
that could cost us the title
in our last 8 games.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. We've won all those games because we had better players, but against good teams with internationals, European pedigree, they're good enough to, defenders maybe the same as you, but when it comes from an attacking point of view, they will punish you.
And the manager that has been in 5 title races on the spin yeah, before this season, and obviously not the first season, yeah.
Exactly.
Right? He's been there
Exactly.
7 years, in 5 title races, 3 Champions League finals, right? And he's won, what, 2 League Cup and FA Cup as well. Yeah, this is a manager that is in the gutter right now in terms of what's happened this season. But at any point, we know they can turn it on, Kenny. They slapped Man United 7. Yeah, they were 2-0 up against Real Madrid. Like,
well, you look at Man United. The first half at Anfield, Man United played similar to us, only they couldn't score. They controlled the game, and then Gatko scores the first just before half time, and then the second half it's an avalanche. Now, the only difference between Liverpool's performance in the second half against us and against Man United was that they didn't score repetitively, but they did. They came close to doing it. They were brilliant in the second half. That means, you know, that something's wrong at Liverpool, where, you know, either he's messed up the midfield or they just rely on the crowd at Anfield.
They got no balance now. They're defensively all over, and they're conceding so many goals, which is Brendan Rodgers-esque. But they can still score at any point, and that is
exactly. If you want to look at the positives are, I thought we'd lose today.
Well, I thought we'd lose today.
I didn't. I could see where you're coming from, but, you know, I look at Liverpool at Anfield, and I look at the crowd, and I look at the fact they got that very strong, you know, forward line, which is good enough to play in any top league in Europe. You know, and the way we're playing, the way we concede possession sometimes in games, the way we concede clear-cut chances, I thought, that we'll come unstuck, and that's one lessons learned. Lesson learned is that we're gonna thrash Southampton. West Ham will probably give up if we score early, because they haven't got a fight in them. But against decent teams at the Etihad and at St James's Park, then they mean business. They're not playing. Newcastle still want to get in that top 4. They still want to finish third, so they can be automatic, get into the automatic places. Man City have got a league to win. Don't think for 1 minute Man City are going for the Champions League. The league's always been priority in Man City, not the Champions League, and that's why we've got to be on our mettle. But the only way for us to have good habits against Man City and Newcastle was in the games that we play against. Try and keep complete clean sheets. And when we go into these games, we look like we're difficult to defend against, they're difficult to play against. If we keep on winning those games 3-2, 4-3-2, 4-1, and keep securing goals, we're going to go into those games where they're going to think, right, we got great defence, we've got better players than West Ham. We'll lose those games. We'll lose those games because guess what? They got internationals who will punish us, and they got the players who are tactically up there who will be able to manage the game. That will cost us the league. Those 2 games will cost, our mentality of not being able to keep clean sheets will cost us the league.
100%. Listen, we're going to do player rating shortly. I've still got to do Jez and Matty's fan cam. Big up to everybody who's watched. Make sure you follow Kenny Ken 1972. But yeah, very disappointing. But it is what it is. At least we didn't get battered. Our annual spanking at Anfield.
Before I start, I just want to say, Aaron Ramsdale. If any of you see Aaron Ramsdale, get him a drink. Get him a drink.
And if any of you see the ref, make sure you do what you need to do.
But stay away from that lino. He's a big lad, you know.
We're out of here, people. Later.